AI is giving retailers the ability to look at information completely differently. In fact, there's a maturity curve to analytics and the information that's provided by AI. There is descriptive analytics, there is predictive analytics, and there's prescriptive analytics. Now, they all sound very similar. There's an interesting difference between all of them. Descriptive analytics is more or less looking at a graph, seeing what is with respect to a situation. Predictive analytics is being able to use that and through the power of AI determine what do we expect to have happen next. That's predictive analytics. And then taking it one step further, based on what we expect to happen, what can we anticipate by inserting different kinds of triggers to customer behavior? And that becomes prescriptive analytics. So what offer can I make to you or to a group of consumers that's going to help move the needle from a sales perspective, let's say?
But all of that information, all of the technology, we heard two words this morning, time and time again.
Yes.
Experience.
Yes.
And relationship.
Right.
How does the information translate into helping retailers kind of evolve the relationship, the experience they have with customers?
As much as we hear a lot about the death of physical stores, that is just not going to happen. People need a place where they can come and interact with other people, to put their hands on product. They love to be entertained, to be engaged. And so by taking advantage of the physical space and using ways of connecting with the customer in the store, whether it's sending them offers on their phone or being able to do things like measure traffic patterns in the store, these are all things that allow us to collect information to be more effective. And if we can do that, whether it's at an anonymous level where we're just understanding something in general about the way the store is behaving or the flow of traffic within it, or specifically on a given customer basis, what are you interested in when you come? Well, now with that kind of information, we can do more to make it a more engaging and positive experience for the customer, and they're going to feel better about that.
When I think about the future of retail and AI, I think of Minority Report.
Yes.
Famous movie where things suddenly appear the minute you walk through the front of a store. Is that what we're going to see?
I really don't think it'll be as creepy and dark as the Tom Cruise movie made it all out to be. But there are elements of that I think we can see even today. And it's not all in a bad way. Customers want to be known. One of the biggest drivers of customer loyalty is our ability as a retailer to demonstrate that we know you and that we're making offers that are personalized to your desires, to your interests. And so being able to collect information with your permission is something that allows us to build a profile where we can make offers that are specific to you. And that's something that, while we may have seen a really exaggerated version of in the movie, something that we do want to aspire to, because now we can make meaningful offers to a customer in the context of where they are and when they are.
We also heard the phrase platform and productivity.
Yes.
Presume what you're talking about is kind of in that vein. It's about helping customers get what they want, whether that's a product or whether it's advice or guidance, as quickly as they can, whatever system they're using.
And we try to do that in our stores in the sense that we engage the customer even before they walk in the store. We've got an area outside of the store where we've got a whole game system in that common area of the aisle outside of the store. And that continues into the store where you're greeted at the door and someone engages you in conversation about how's it going, what are you looking for today, what sort of things are you interested in. So being able to make the customer feel at home in the store, being able to direct them and engage them in a natural conversation is something that makes that all come together. For example, we'll have kids on a Saturday who are over here playing on the Xbox systems. We don't come over and shoo them away. One of the first questions we'll ask is, hey, who's winning? What's going on in the game? These people, these young people who are in here become the consumer of the future. And they're certainly influencers of the rest of the family. So we're trying to create an environment, a community, where people want to come in and engage with us and engage with the technology we have, because it's part of their lives.
There are a few things in the store that, as we were shown around today, they don't appear obvious until you realise that that's how it's set up. Stools, for example, all the tables encouraging people to sit down and actually get hands-on with some of the technology.
Yes.
You've got some of the desks are not all they appear.
That's right.
It seems that community is important to Microsoft.
It is, and I think that's one of the key things that sort of, you need to be nuanced with technology. It's not important for the technology to be right in your face. So whether it's measuring traffic patterns in the store environment with beacons in the ceiling, or with special mats that can track where customers are going, how long they'll dwell in a certain place, whether it's a point of sale cash register that's operated from my phone, but the receipt pops out of the side of the table where the printer is hidden underneath. These are things that allow us to create an environment where technology is enabling us, but it's not in your face. And it still allows us to create that personal connection with the shopper that they want, and I think in the long run helps everybody in the retail space.
Talking to some of your colleagues here, they were talking about asking questions rather than trying to sell customers products.
Right.
How does asking questions when customers are in store actually dovetail with some of the information that you can get from technology that's embedded in the design of the store?
Well, being able to know your customer can happen in a couple of different ways. It can happen through technology, but really unless you're taking the time to find out what a consumer's interested in. And this exists even at an enterprise business level. I don't want to sell you just a game system and see you walk away. I don't want to sell you a CRM system and say, hey, good luck with that. I want to know what problem it is that you're trying to solve, or what kind of entertaining experience you want. If I don't know you, if I don't take the time to understand your interests or your business interests, then I'm not going to be very successful in helping you find where you want to be.
So let's talk about understanding and solving problems, the answer bar.
Yes.
There's a lot more going on there than I think people realise, certainly more than I realised. It's about solving problems rather than actually selling products.
That's right. Most of the time when you come into a store, you expect to see a cash checkout area. Well, really, you don't see a cash checkout anywhere in the store. This area of the store is where you can come and talk to trained staff about your needs, whether it's a business need, and we have many small business owners who come in and ask for technology advice, or it's somebody who's got a family and they're trying to figure out a game system. Well, you can come in even with products that aren't from Microsoft and ask for our advice, and we're more than happy to help you with that.
So we've talked a little bit about the theory.
Yes.
Can you give me some examples? Customers that are using some of the technologies to change the experience, to build relationships, and ultimately to impact the bottom line.
Well, one of the best stories that we've talked about before is a grocer in Italy called Coop Italia. And they have this wonderful blend of the physical experience and the digital experience. And in their case, we were able to work with them in their produce area to create this environment where all of the products are laid out in bins like they normally are in a grocery store. You got your tomatoes, your carrots, your lettuce, but up above is this wonderful bank of digital displays. And what happens is that there's an interface, a gestural interface that's created. And the way we achieve that, quite interestingly, is with the Kinect device from the Xbox game system. So as a consumer reaches out for the tomatoes, up above on the displays, we're able to sense that's where they're reaching. So now we've got a context for this interaction. And up there, we're then able to display all the information about that product. It could be farmer to fork nutritional information. It could be the carbon footprint of the product. It could even be how many steps do you have to walk to get rid of the calories that pertain to that product.
I'm not sure I want to know the answer to that one.
Well, it's kind of interesting in that today's society is very health conscious, very lifestyle conscious, and sometimes with products like this, it's hard to offer that kind of information to a consumer because it doesn't come in a box, it doesn't have a wrapper, and so it's hard to put those nutrition facts on the back of a carrot. But with this kind of information, we're able to provide the consumer with just about anything they want to know, whether it's where this product came from or what's a recipe that I can use with this. Now that's the consumer side of things. From the retailer side of it, they're also able to collect information, albeit anonymously because we don't know who that person is who's standing there, but we'll know in what order they were touching things. That helps us inform our merchandising presentation. It might influence our understanding of how effective we were with a promotional event that we had going on. So we can see how long customers spend in front of a product. We'll know that from the lettuce, they often reach over to the carrots, and then you can make other business decisions about how the products are laid out.
We saw a HoloLens demonstration as well. You have a customer using that technology?
Yes, we do. Lowe's in the United States is one of the first companies, first retailers to embrace augmented reality as a technology that they use in a customer-facing environment. And what they have is a part of their store, this is right now just in a number of stores in the United States, where a customer will come in and don the headset of the HoloLens and go into an area where they literally build a visual representation of a kitchen. So it's laid out in a very generic black and white fashion. There's a box that represents the fridge and the stove. There is a counter space, but there's nothing to it. Meanwhile, an associate is beside them looking at a laptop. The HoloLens, which I often describe as a pair of Oakley sunglasses on steroids, allows the consumer to see the physical space that exists before them, but with a gesture, begin to add things that augment that representation. So they can try a granite countertop, but if they don't like that, they can get rid of it and put in butcher block. They can try different backsplashes. They can see what a chrome fridge looks like as opposed to a white fridge. And while all this is happening, as they're building their kitchen in a virtual fashion, the associate is also seeing it on their screen. So that allows them to see what products are more popular. It also allows him to put together an offer that he can then send off to Lowe's to place the order for the products.
Knowing the customer's been actively involved and can actually see what the finished product's going to look like.
Yeah, and that makes a great deal of difference. If you're actually able to see what you're getting, not just imagine it, but to see it, it becomes a much more interactive experience. And I've used the word interactive quite a bit. It has to do with the way we engage the customer. The more that we can do that, either through our conversations or through the technology in the store, the better we can understand what you want and the better that we can serve you.
There's one last thing about this community area in the store here in Mississauga. It's not just for Microsoft customers.
Absolutely not. We make this area in the back of our store available to all sorts of community groups. So we're investing in the community, whether it's with new Canadians, whether it's with people who are giving financial advice. We use this as a space where people can come in and learn about different things. And they may not have to do with Microsoft, but we want to invest ourselves in the community, and that's one of the ways that we do it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good time.